Some people take control by being loud. They push, pressure, and force others to follow. But not everyone plays that game. Sigma males are different. They don't need to lead, and they refuse to follow. They live by their own rules, and anyone who tries to control them usually fails, quietly and completely. Sigma males don't fight for power in the usual way. They don't raise their voice or throw their weight around. Instead, they respond with calm, sharp moves that throw others off balance. This makes them hard to rule and even harder to manipulate. They're not aggressive. They're not emotional. But that doesn't mean they're weak. In fact, their strength comes from staying centered and making smart choices. When someone tries to dominate them, they don't push back in the open. They shut things down from the inside out. This is what makes their methods so effective. They don't waste time arguing or proving themselves. They just remove control from the situation without anyone seeing it happen. And by the time the other person notices, it's already over. The Sigma male is gone, or the game has been flipped completely. These men know how to keep their power, even when someone else tries to take it. They use silence, logic, space, and simple actions to block control attempts before they can grow. And they do it all while staying cool and collected. In this video, we're going to look at 6 tactics Sigma males use to destroy anyone who tries to rule them. These are not loud tactics. They don't involve threats or fights, but they work, and they work well. If you've ever tried to control someone and felt like they slipped away from you without even trying, there's a good chance you were dealing with a Sigma male. Tactic number 1. Strategic silence. Most people talk when they're uncomfortable. They defend themselves, explain their actions, or try to prove their point. But Sigma males know that silence can be more powerful than words. When someone tries to control them, their first move is often to say nothing. This silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. Sigma males understand that talking too much gives others information. It reveals feelings, shows pressure points, and invites more control. But when they stay quiet, they stay in control. Picture someone trying to dominate a conversation, giving commands, asking personal questions, or throwing insults. Most people would react. A Sigma male doesn't. He stays calm and says nothing. That silence puts the other person on edge. They expect a response. When they don't get one, they start to lose control of the situation. This tactic works because it makes people uncomfortable. People who try to rule others want reactions. They want to see fear, anger, or confusion. Silence gives them none of that. It starves their need for power and forces them to question what's happening. In personal relationships, this tactic is even more powerful. If someone tries to guilt or shame a Sigma male, he doesn't argue back. He listens, gives a cold stare, and says nothing. That silence creates pressure. It forces the manipulator to deal with their own noise, and most can't handle it. This also works in group settings. If a manager, teacher, or leader tries to single out a Sigma male with criticism or public control, he won't play along. He won't argue or make a scene. He'll simply give them no reaction. The message is clear. You don't control me. And that message is powerful, because it doesn't come with yelling or fighting. It comes with stillness. And stillness is hard to challenge. Strategic silence also gives Sigma males time to think. They don't rush into action. They listen, they watch, and they wait. While others are talking and showing their hand, the Sigma male is gathering information. Then, when the time is right, he moves, quietly and effectively. This tactic confuses people. They think silence means weakness or surrender. But when nothing happens, no reaction, no breakdown, they realize something else is going on. And usually it's too late to push further. This is why silence is one of the Sigma male's most dangerous tools. It disarms, distracts, and delays control attempts before they start. And because it's so quiet, no one sees it coming. If you've ever tried to get a reaction from someone and ended up feeling more confused and powerless yourself, you may have just met a Sigma male using strategic silence. Tactic number 2, unyielding boundaries. Control starts where boundaries end. That's why Sigma males are experts at protecting their personal lines. They don't wait for problems to show up. They build limits early and they stick to them. These boundaries are firm, simple, and clear. And once they're in place, no one crosses them without a cost. Sigma males don't explain their boundaries over and over. They don't negotiate them. They just live by them. If someone tries to push too hard, they respond with action, not argument. They leave, shut down the conversation, or remove access. And they don't look back. This is what makes their boundaries different from most people's. They're not soft. They're not flexible. They are built from years of knowing what drains them, what traps them, and what violates their peace. And once those lines are set, they don't move. For example, a Sigma male may not answer calls or texts outside of certain hours. If someone complains, he doesn't change the rule. He simply reminds them that he values his time. If someone shows up uninvited, he doesn't get angry. He just makes sure it doesn't happen again. This may seem cold to people who are used to being able to push others around, but it sends a clear message. I control my life, not you. In relationships, this is especially powerful. A partner who tries to control a Sigma male's schedule, emotions, or decisions will quickly learn that he doesn't bend. He doesn't argue or yell, but he also doesn't allow disrespect. If someone pushes too far, the Sigma male distances himself without drama. At work, this shows up in how he handles pressure. If a boss demands overtime without notice, the Sigma male might just say no or walk away from the job entirely. He's not attached to systems that abuse his time or energy. And because he's not afraid to leave, no one holds power over him. This ability to walk away is a key part of boundary setting. Most people fear what they might lose. Sigma males don't. They know their worth. They know what they're willing to accept. And if someone tries to take more than that, the deal is off. That's what destroys control before it starts. The Sigma male doesn't need a fight. He just has limits, and he keeps them. Anyone who can't respect those limits doesn't get access to him. It's that simple. These boundaries make people uncomfortable, especially people who are used to taking control. They expect to wear others down. But with a Sigma male, that never works. The wall stays up, and the door stays closed. If you've ever met someone who didn't argue, didn't chase, but still made it clear you couldn't push past a certain point, you've seen a Sigma male using unyielding boundaries. Tactic number 3, calculated withdrawal. One of the strongest moves a Sigma male makes isn't to fight. It's to walk away, and not in anger or weakness, but with calm, quiet purpose. This is called calculated withdrawal. It's not giving up. It's knowing when a situation no longer deserves your energy. When someone tries to rule or control a Sigma male, they often expect a fight. They want to argue, debate, or wear him down. But Sigma males don't give them that chance. Instead, they leave, mentally, emotionally, or physically. And they do it with total control. This kind of withdrawal isn't random. It's not ghosting without thought. It's a planned move. Sigma males are always watching. If a person keeps pushing, keeps testing limits, or keeps demanding more than they should, the Sigma male takes note. He doesn't respond right away. He just starts planning an exit. He might slowly pull back. Less conversation, less time spent, fewer updates. Or when the moment is right, he might leave completely. Job, relationship, friendship, it doesn't matter. If he feels the space is becoming toxic or controlling, he cuts ties and disappears. The power of this move is that it leaves the other person with no tools. They can't argue with someone who's no longer there. They can't control someone who's out of reach. The game ends and they're left alone with their tactics. What makes this withdrawal even more effective is how clean it is. There's no yelling, no emotional explosions, just a sudden clear shift. One day things feel normal. The next, the Sigma male is gone, and there's no going back. In romantic relationships, this can be shocking. A partner who tried to control or manipulate may suddenly find the Sigma male emotionally distant, then physically gone. She might wonder what happened. She might reach out to fix things. But by then, he's already moved on. In work situations, this tactic can feel like a quiet rebellion. The Sigma male doesn't complain or make scenes. But when the pressure gets too high, when leadership gets too controlling, he leaves. And because he's usually skilled and independent, his absence leaves a gap that's hard to fill. People underestimate this move because they think leaving is weakness. But for the Sigma male, it's one of his strongest plays. It's not about running, it's about protecting his peace. It's about saying, "You don't get to waste my energy." Calculated withdrawal is so effective because it removes control at the root. It doesn't try to fix people who are toxic. It doesn't argue with people who won't change. It just ends the connection and ends the power that person thought they had. If you've ever pushed someone and suddenly found yourself talking to silence, if someone once close to you disappeared without drama but with full intent, you may have just seen a Sigma male use calculated withdrawal. Tactic number 4, intellectual deflection. Sigma males think before they speak. They don't get caught up in emotions. And when someone tries to control them with clever tricks, guilt, or manipulation, they use their mind to flip the game. This is intellectual deflection. This tactic is about seeing through the surface. Sigma males don't just listen to words, they watch the meaning behind them. If someone tries to trap them with flattery, pressure, or shame, they don't fall for it. They spot the real motive and respond in a way that shifts the power. For example, someone might say, "You're not being a team player," to force the Sigma male into doing something. But instead of arguing or giving in, the Sigma male replies with calm logic, "I'll contribute in a way that respects my boundaries." It's short, clear, and unshakable. That answer deflects the guilt and keeps him in control. This kind of thinking throws manipulators off. They expect people to react emotionally, but the Sigma male doesn't. He stays calm and focused. He answers in ways that remove the emotional sting from the conversation. Another example, someone says, "Why don't you ever open up? Don't you trust me?" This is a push for emotional control. Most people might feel guilty and start sharing. But the Sigma male sees the tactic. He might reply, "I open up when it makes sense, not when I'm told to." That's deflection with truth. It ends the push. Sigma males are also good at asking quiet questions that make others rethink their approach. If someone tries to dominate a discussion, the Sigma might say, "What are you really trying to say?" Or, "Why is that important to you?" These questions don't start fights. They shift the focus and expose control tactics. This tactic works because the Sigma male refuses to let others set the emotional tone. He controls the pace of the conversation, the depth of the connection, and the meaning of his words. He doesn't get caught up in blame, praise, or threats. He listens, thinks, and replies with purpose. People trying to control others hate this. They want quick reactions, big emotions, and easy targets. But the Sigma male is none of those things. He's steady, quiet, and sharp. His deflection cuts through manipulation without ever raising his voice. At work, this might look like ignoring office politics and focusing only on results. In relationships, it might look like rejecting emotional games and sticking to facts. In everyday life, it's being polite but firm, refusing to be pulled into drama or control. If you've ever tried to steer a conversation and found yourself redirected, if you've used emotion to control and found only calm logic coming back, you've probably faced a Sigma male using intellectual deflection. Tactic number 5, emotional detachment. Control often works through emotion. Guilt, fear, pressure, love, these are the tools people use to steer others. But Sigma males don't respond the same way. They keep a clear emotional line between themselves and the world. This is emotional detachment, and it's a powerful shield. Sigma males feel deeply, but they don't let feelings drive their choices. They've trained themselves to observe emotion, not be ruled by it. When someone tries to use emotion to control them, it bounces off. It doesn't land. And that's what makes this tactic so effective. Let's say someone says, "If you really cared, you'd do this." That's emotional pressure. Most people feel pulled by that. But the Sigma male pauses. He doesn't react right away. He asks himself, "Is this true, or is this a game?" If it's a game, he doesn't play. This doesn't mean he doesn't care. It means he decides what's right, not based on emotion, but based on principle. His care is real, but it's not for sale. He won't act out of guilt or fear just to keep someone happy. That control doesn't work on him. In relationships, this can confuse people. They expect quick emotional feedback, but the Sigma male doesn't give that. He takes time to think. He doesn't chase or beg. He doesn't fall apart when things get hard. He steps back, takes a breath, and moves forward with logic. This makes emotional games useless. If someone tries to punish him with silence, he accepts it. If someone cries to get their way, he sees through it. If someone tries to make him jealous, he's unaffected. He's too grounded to be moved by surface emotion. In work and social life, this shows up as calm under pressure. While others panic or get caught in drama, the Sigma male stays focused. He's not cold, he's clear. He knows that reacting with emotion often leads to mistakes. So he waits. He decides. Then he acts. This calm presence can feel unsettling. People are used to seeing emotion as a way to control others. But with the Sigma male, emotion doesn't have that power. That's why those who try to rule him through guilt, love, or fear fail. He chooses what matters. He chooses when to care, when to step back, and when to speak. And no one, not family, not friends, not bosses, gets to choose that for him. If you've ever used emotion to guide someone and found it had no effect, if you've tried to guilt, shame, or charm someone into action and got nothing back, you were likely dealing with a Sigma male using emotional detachment. Tactic number 6, subtle assertiveness. When people think of power, they often picture someone loud, bold, or aggressive, someone who takes control by force. But Sigma males don't need to be loud to be powerful. They use something different, subtle assertiveness. It's quiet, calm, and unshakable. And it's one of the most effective ways they destroy control attempts. Subtle assertiveness means the Sigma male doesn't need to argue, threaten, or force his point. He just makes his position clear once and then lives by it. No yelling, no long talks. Just calm statements and strong follow-through. This kind of behavior can catch people off guard. Many expect either full cooperation or full resistance. The Sigma male gives neither. He simply draws the line and refuses to move it. Not with emotion, but with clarity. For example, if someone tries to pressure him into a plan he doesn't agree with, he might say, "That doesn't work for me." No excuses. No reasons. No back and forth. If they push, he repeats it. "That doesn't work for me." And then he does something even stronger. He follows through. That consistency is what makes this tactic powerful. He doesn't bluff. He doesn't make empty threats. If he says he won't do something, he won't. If he says he needs space, he takes it. People learn very quickly that he means what he says, even if he says it quietly. This kind of calm, direct behavior puts a stop to control before it starts. There's no emotional weakness to target. No panic. No reaction to manipulate. Just simple, grounded choices made on his terms. In work situations, this shows up as quiet but firm independence. A boss may try to micromanage, but the Sigma male calmly reminds them of his process and then delivers results that back it up. He doesn't fight the system. He just proves he doesn't need it. In relationships, it's even more personal. If a partner tries to guilt, pressure, or change him, he doesn't argue. He just calmly keeps living the way he chooses. If the pressure continues, he walks away without drama. And because his actions match his words, people know not to test him more than once. Subtle assertiveness also shows up in how Sigma males carry themselves. Their tone is even. Their posture is relaxed. Their eyes are direct. There's no bluff, but there's also no hesitation. That balance makes them hard to challenge because there's nothing to grab onto. No panic to push against. No insecurity to exploit. Manipulators rely on chaos. They push people off balance. They create doubt. But none of that works when someone is completely calm and sure of himself. That's why this tactic shuts down control so quickly. Even when Sigma males are being challenged, they don't raise their voices. They don't explain themselves too much. They don't change their tone. They simply stand firm. And because they don't need to win a fight, they often win without one. People who are used to controlling others often feel lost in front of this kind of strength. They expect a reaction. When they don't get one, they try harder. But the Sigma male doesn't give more. He gives less. Less attention, less time, less access, until the person trying to control him gives up. That's the beauty of subtle assertiveness. It doesn't look like force, but it is. It's quiet force. Controlled, deliberate, and constant. It never breaks under pressure, because it's not trying to prove anything. It's just real. If you've ever met someone who stayed calm while others yelled, who stayed clear when others twisted the truth, and who kept moving forward without ever explaining himself twice, you've seen a Sigma male using subtle assertiveness. And once someone tries to rule a man like that, they learn quickly there's no winning that game, because he's not even playing. The Sigma male doesn't fight for power. He doesn't argue, shout, or force others to see his side. But when someone tries to control him, the outcome is always the same. They fail. Not because he attacks them, but because he removes their power at the root. He uses silence when others expect emotion. He sets boundaries that can't be moved. He walks away without fear. He answers tricks with logic. He keeps his feelings steady, and when he speaks, it's clear and final. These tactics don't look like war, but they destroy control completely. Sigma males are not here to follow anyone's path. They don't look for leaders, and they don't become followers. They build their own lives on their own terms. That's what makes them dangerous to people who rely on manipulation. You can't twist someone who refuses to play your game. What makes these 6 tactics so powerful is how quiet they are. There's no big fight, no warning. Just a slow shift until the person trying to control realizes they're no longer in charge. And by then, it's already over. People try to rule others with fear, guilt, or confusion. But none of that works on a Sigma male. He sees through the games. He knows his worth. And he doesn't stay where he's not free. If someone crosses the line, he doesn't push back. He just leaves the field. This makes him one of the hardest people to dominate. Not because he's aggressive, but because he's completely self-owned. He needs nothing from anyone. He chooses connection, but never depends on it. That's the core of his strength. These men don't destroy others through anger. They destroy control by refusing to give it attention. They destroy manipulation by making it useless. They destroy domination by walking away from it, calmly and without warning. That's what makes the Sigma male so effective. He's not loud. He's not violent, but he's unshakable. And for people used to ruling over others, that's the one type of man they can't beat. If you've ever seen someone lose their grip on control without understanding why, if you've watched a person slowly lose power over someone who never raised his voice, never broke down, never fought back, that's what happens when you try to rule a Sigma male. He doesn't just resist control. He removes the need for it. And when the game is over, he's already onto something better, alone, free, and untouched.